What's the matter, Louis? The wife been getting on you for missing too many dinners? Well, if you do your job and get back to me the way you're supposed to, I wouldn't have to call you. Because it's 5 o'clock already and I'm still waiting for it, that's why. Ooh. Does this mean we can't be friends?
Rough day?
He's worried about his dinner. I'm worried about getting an ulcer. That makes us even.
Sorry to hear it.
Oh, by the way, that's not for publication. In fact, anything you hear me say in the near future is not for print. I'm not in the best of moods.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not here for the Herald.
To what do I owe the pleasure, then?
Cagney McCleary. See, Hogan's out of town,
Is
so
he? I wish I was.
So I came here in his place to take Cagney home. Lieutenant, if you don't mind, this hasn't been one of my best days either.
Take a piece of advice from me, Miss Adamson. Go home. You stand about as much chance of seeing Cagney McCleary walk out of here today as I do of having this turn into a roast beef.
You can't hold him here without formally charging him.
This is true.
Well, why don't you release him? What are you waiting for?
The ink on his fingers to dry. Even as we speak, he's being booked. He is under arrest.
Jonah. If it hadn't been for McCleary, Susie would have named him after me. Then he would have been Warren Jr.
Well, look on the bright side. You thought they'd be married by now.
Yeah, right. I wonder how Loverboy managed to foul up his own wedding.
No idea. You want me to see if I can find out?
No, what I want to see is the look on Susie's face when she finds out that he's in jail, too.
She already knows.
Didn't take her long.
Bad news travels fast.
Yeah. That's just the way they are.
They?
Yeah, all the good people of Henderson. You know, the ones who wouldn't wipe the bottom of their shoes on you when you get in trouble, but they can't wait to call up all their friends and tell them what happened. As if you deserve to get in trouble.
I see.
Yeah, of course you do. You're one of them.
I am?
Mm-hmm. You and your respectable family.
At least you've got McCleary where you want him.
And I'm going to keep him there. By the time I get through with him, a whole lot of those good people are going to be thinking twice about Mr. Nice Guy McCleary.
You can't arrest Cagney.
Oh, I already have.
You'd never get away with this if Hogan was here.
Oh, what does Hogan have to do with this? This is a police matter. I know. The McClearys are a fine family. You know it, I know it. You and Hogan are pals. Fine.
What's that got to do with whether or not Cagney is guilty of theft?
All I am saying is that even in the best of families, a bad apple turns up once in a while. Now, maybe Cagney is the McCleary quota.
You don't believe that.
Oh.
What's your evidence against him?
You know, this is an investigation, not a credit check. If you don't mind, I'm busy.
Then suppose this friendly visit suddenly turns into a strictly professional one. How's the department's publicity been so far this year?
You want to play hardball on this, is that it?
We're both friends of Hogan's. You said so yourself. So far, I'm only asking very friendly questions.
All right, all right. 5 minutes then, for friendship's sake, but only 5 minutes and everything is off the record. Understand?
Understood.
We tracked down the van used in the robbery. It was rented. Cagney McCleary's signature is on the rental agreement.
You think Cagney rented a van to steal money from the company he works for? Come on, Bowman.
Do you want to know what we've got on this or not?
Why would he do that? He owns a car, doesn't
Well, maybe
he?
somebody might recognize his car later on.
So his name was on the rental agreement.
You know, you need a driver's license to rent a van, or maybe Cagney didn't have the connections to get a phony one. Maybe he didn't have time. How do I know? Maybe he's not too bright.
Does he admit to renting the van?
Well, he admits that the signature on the rental agreement looks like his.
So what's that supposed to mean?
You tell me.
Does he admit to renting the van, or doesn't he?
He's not sure. See, what we've got here is a guy with a bum alibi and supposedly no memory.
Well, if he can't remember, maybe he was hit over the head. Have you had him examined by a doctor?
Yes.
And?
And maybe he lacks imagination in police stations.
Sounds to me like he's being framed.
Oh? By whom?
Whoever wanted the money?
Who's that?
Now, how am I supposed to know?
Now look, Cagney is the one who went to the bank. He signed for the money and he left with it. This much we know because A, he admits it, and B, we've got witnesses. After that, it gets a little hazy. He doesn't think he's rented any vans lately, but who knows?
How can you accuse him if you're not even sure he's involved?
He's the one who isn't sure. We have the witnesses and the signatures, and he had the money. So he's an amateur. He gets arrested, he forgets part of his alibi, that's all.
It sounds to me like there's more than a reasonable amount of doubt here.
Sounds to me like I've heard this all
You
before.
can't honestly believe he's guilty, not with the flimsy evidence you've got.
I don't have to. That's what juries are for. Now face it. Flimsy or not, it all goes against him, every bit of it. And if this memory thing doesn't clear up, Cagney McCleary is going to go to jail.
I don't believe this.
Unfortunately, all the cases you see piled up here on my desk are not quite so crystal clear, so if you don't mind, I do have to get back to work.
Maybe I can help you. Isn't there something about this case that doesn't sit right with you? Tell me what it is. Let me check it out for you.
Well, there is one thing that doesn't quite sit right with me. When amateurs pretend to be detectives. Leave it alone. You're wasting your time.
How nice to see you. How have you been?
Okay. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Oh, no, not at all.
Are you alone? Mm-hmm. Corey's not here?
No, he hasn't come home from work yet.
Oh. I was wondering, could I talk to you?
Sure. Is it about anything in particular?
It's about Alec Kendall. I heard that you went down to the Bahamas to try to find him. That was really very nice of you.
That was a very sad thing, what happened to him.
Well, do you think that, there might be a chance that he could still be alive?
Well, is he a friend of yours?
Sort of.
I'm sorry to say that I really don't think there's much of a chance. I wish I could be more encouraging. Were you very close?
Not as close as I wish. I'm much closer with his brother, Chase. He's been very upset about this.
Yes, I can imagine. I don't know what I'd do if I ever lost my brother.
What's it like having a brother?
How do you mean?
Well, do you talk?
Sometimes.
I used to wonder what it would be like to be able to just talk to someone like an older brother. Ask him questions when I was mixed up about things.
That part of it's great. Although sometimes having a brother can really be a pain.
Again, how come?
Well, big brothers like to pick on their little sisters.
Did Cord?
Oh, yes. When I was younger than you are, he used to hide in the bushes and wait until I came by with my friends, and he'd jump out and yell to everyone the name of the boy I had a crush on at the time. He used to make me so angry. But most of the time, it's a very special feeling just knowing he's there.
You sound like you really like him.
Mm-hmm. I do. He's terrific. He means a great deal to me. Once, a few years ago, I thought I'd lost him forever.
That must have been hard.
Luckily, I was wrong.
Well, what happened? You don't want to talk about it. I understand.
Actually, I don't think I should. I wonder who that could be. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Lloyd.
Hi, Victoria. I hope you don't mind my dropping by like this without calling first.
Oh, no, not at all. It's a nice surprise. The second of the day, as a matter of fact. I already have a visitor.
Hello, TR.
What are you doing here? Can't you leave people alone?
TR?
Everywhere you go, someone gets hurt or they die.
TR, please. Don't you realize what Mr. Kendall's going
Oh,
through
he
right
isn't
now?
going through anything, Victoria. He doesn't care about his son.
Lloyd, I'm sorry. Of course he cares.
He
How can you
doesn't
say
care.
anything
I'd
like
rather
that?
die than have you as a father. You hear me? I'd rather die.
Bowman, acting like it's an open and shut case. With the evidence he's got, he'll be lucky if he isn't laughed right out of the courtroom.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure of that. The police don't arrest people unless they're convinced they can make it stand up.
Yes, but the whole thing hinges on Cagney's supposed signature on a rental agreement. Now, why would somebody use their own name to rent a van if they plan to use it in a robbery? It doesn't make sense. All right, Garvey, let's get him out of here. How do we get him released?
Well, we can't. Not until the judge sets bail at his hearing.
And when's that?
Well, tomorrow morning at the earliest.
Great, so we'll have to spend the night in jail.
Well, I'm afraid so.
But he's innocent. He shouldn't have to stay here.
Well, until we can convince the police of that, he has to stay where he is. Now, these things take time.
Maybe not.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to call the commissioner. Roy's a friend of mine. Maybe he can have Cagney's hearing moved up and he can get out of here tonight.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
Well, why not?
Well, it might work against Cagney.
How?
Well, he's got yours truly as a hotshot lawyer. Hired for him by his boss, Lloyd Kendall, the man he stole the money from. And you're here on his behalf, a well-known reporter. You see how it looks?
Not exactly.
This construction worker's got an awful lot of friends in high places.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with my...
You want to bring in the commissioner of police to arrange a special hearing for him.
Only so bail can be set and he won't have to spend the night in jail.
Yeah, well, I checked in with my office this afternoon, and there's a few, some rumblings coming through the grapevine.
What about?
Well, Susie Wyatt and Lloyd hanging around all day, getting in the way. Look, all it takes is one disgruntled detective deciding Cagney deserves to be behind bars, and before you know it, someone's going out of his way to make sure he stays there.
Bowman? Oh, come on. He wouldn't do something like that.
Well, it doesn't have to be Bowman. It can be just some overworked, underpaid detective who's fed up watching privileged characters get off.
But Cagney isn't a
Now, look, it's just better to let things simmer down overnight, huh?
I wish Hogan was here. He'd know what to do.
Well, there is a bright side.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know, a night in a cell just might help jog Cagney's memory. His lapse of memory's done almost as much for the DA's case as the witnesses at the bank who saw him leave with the money.
Witnesses. Wait a minute. That might do it.
Well, what is it? Now tell me.
I'll tell you later. I gotta run.
Sonny,
Yeah.
be careful.
Oh, I will.
So by midnight tonight, everybody in town is going to know that McCleary's in jail. It's perfect. You did a perfect job. You planned the robbery, you pulled it off without a hitch. Found yourself a talent you didn't even know you had.
Lucky me.
What?
Nothing.
You're staring.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Prison's done something to you. Back in Detroit, you were never so...
What? Say it.
There's an edge I've never seen before. Like you hate the whole world.
The whole world. Yeah, the whole world is only 10 feet by 6 feet. And it's got a concrete floor. And a steel bed with a flimsy mattress.
Now, what do you do? How do you keep it together?
You cultivate a view inside your head. You don't want to look too far to the left or to the right in this place. You just look straight ahead. You think a lot. Make a lot of plans.
About getting out?
Yeah, you keep your thoughts to yourself.
Well, it must be on your mind.
There are a lot of things on my mind. You know, I owe all of this to a handful of those good people. And I'm never going to let them forget it. Because I'm going to shut down their world the way they shut down mine. He's the only one that's important to me. They can take him away from me. But they can't separate us. I'm his father.
Soon you'll have it all the way you want it. I'm making headway with Susie, gaining her confidence. I'm ready for step 2 whenever you are.
All right. And I think it's time for some more pictures.
I don't know what to say. I can't imagine what got into TR to act that way.
It's all right. It's nothing new. It's been going on for a long time. Beginning, it was because Travis and I didn't like each other. Then when he died, she blamed me for it. Liza's tried to explain it to her a number of times, but she's just unable to accept the truth.
She came by to talk with me about Alec.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's why I'm here. I didn't get a chance to thank you for coming down and trying to help find him.
I wish there was more that I could have done, but when I saw that it was useless, I wanted to leave you alone with a close friend.
Sonny, yeah, that was very thoughtful of you. I can't tell you what it meant to me to have you come down there and try to help find my son. I imagine probably nobody could have found him or saved him. The fact that you tried so hard, I'll never forget that. You provided me with a great deal of comfort, and I wanted you to know that.
I'm sorry things turned out the way they did. I can only imagine the difficulty of losing a child.
Oh, Matilda. I did a terrible thing. I yelled at him. I know he must be hurting too about Alec, but I just couldn't help myself. I got so scared when I saw him. You're so lucky. You got nothing to worry about except eating and sleeping and playing. So hard not being able to tell Chase that I'm his sister. I want to tell him so bad, but I'm afraid he's going to tell Lloyd, and then I'm going to have to leave here. And I'll never see Liza, Stu, Turner, and you. Never again. Oh, Matilda, what am I going to do? I can't ever let anyone know. And that ring. Oh, I gotta find my ring before anyone else does, and I gotta get rid of it before Lloyd ever sees it. Oh, Matilda. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Jace, I want you to take a look at these ratings. Where is he? Put him right here where he's going to see them. If these ratings do not change his mind, nothing will.
Mrs. Wyatt, I was told I could find you here.
Oh, Mr. Hamilton, yes.
That's
Hello.
Brett Hamilton.
Oh.
I have something to show you. Something I think you're going to enjoy.
Well, these are lovely. Ah! Where did you get them?
Oh, I took them at your stepdaughter's house. They turned out rather well, don't you think?
Yes, indeed I do. Are you a photographer?
That's right.
Well, you've captured Jonah, and as far as Susie's concerned, I've never seen her look more radiant.
Well, we had a very good session, during which Susie mentioned your name. When I found out you were related, I thought you'd like to see them.
Well, thank you very much. That was a very kind thought, and they really are marvelous. You must allow me to pay you for them.
Oh, no, please. They're my gift.
Well, thank you again, and it's a gift that will be cherished, I can assure you. How long have you been a photographer?
Since college. At the time, it was more of a hobby, I suppose. But then I found that all I wanted to do was take pictures, despite the anguish it caused my family.
Ah. Oh, what profession did they have in mind for you?
Business. But I enjoyed the isolation of landscapes and the darkroom instead of the noise and machinery of the sawmill.
Sawmill? Lumber? Are you Hamilton as in Hamilton Mills?
Guilty as charged. No matter how hard I try to escape it, recognition of the family name is never far behind.
Well, bite your tongue.
Oh, I'm not complaining. Though my father does. He's still hoping that I'll forget photography and pair up with him.
Well, you're very good. Your family should be very proud of the work you do.
Well, thank you. I noticed that there's been a lot of publicity lately for Channel 6 in the newspapers.
Yes, our new show, Nights of the Turntable.
A photo of you appeared in yesterday's paper. You are very photogenic.
Well, thank you very much. Very nice of you to say so.
But I couldn't help thinking that I could do you more justice.
Is that professional pride speaking, Brett, or is this a man looking for a job?
Well, now, are you looking for a still photographer?
Have you heard of publicity photographers?
Are you looking for one? That would be wonderful. I suppose with a new show you could be needing one, couldn't you?
Well, I might. But I'd have to see more than this, as good as these are. You know what? Why don't I hire you to do some publicity stills of me, and we'll see how it works out.
It would be my absolute pleasure.
Good. We could go to my office right now and set up the time.
Mrs. Wyatt.
Yes.
I hope you don't think I'm being forward or presumptuous, but I'd like to ask your opinion on something.
What is that?
I was thinking of asking Susie out to dinner this evening.
Were you really?
Yes. I understand that she recently broke off her engagement. I was wondering if you think it too soon.
No. No, I don't at all. I think it's a wonderful idea. Exactly what Susie needs.
Well, thank you. I will then.
Oh, yes. You do that.
Who do you think it was who went out on strike while you were still in high school so you could have this union of yours? Me. And people like me, that's who.
But, Lieutenant...
Don't lieutenant me, officer. The next time I give an order, I want it obeyed without being read chapter and verse from the union bylaws, understand?
Yes, Lieutenant.
Unbelievable.
Ah, Lieutenant Bowman, just the person I'm looking for.
Twice in one day? What do you want, Miss Adamson? Before you start, tell me, have you been here all this time, or did you leave for an hour and a half and come back?
I want you to bring Cagney up here.
I told you he's under arrest.
This is important.
So is this headache I have. Now look, I asked you to stay out of this, leave the police work to the professionals.
Oh, what's the matter? You afraid of all the paperwork you'll have when you find out he's innocent?
I have an ironclad case that says he isn't, and if you're not out of this precinct immediately, I'm going to put you under arrest for loitering. Do I make myself clear?
I'm not going anywhere. You see, I've got somebody outside who can clear Cagney, and you're going to see him.